G'day, you good motherfuckers, the Buttsman here, and I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, have a look at this.
So comedy is, I think it's an excuse to get to be racist, right? Like irony. And I think TV shows like Family Guy and South Park and maybe a little bit The Simpsons, right, allowed white people to be racist self-consciously, right? Like, I know I'm being racist, and therefore it doesn't count and it's okay.
That's best-selling author Robin DiAngelo, who wrote the book White Fragility, which is a book all about how bad you white people are. It's a great read. Really makes you feel good about yourself. And she's taking aim at her next target, filthy comedians. So from now on, to avoid being called racist, I will only discuss, joke, converse, comment on, review, debate, and examine, and other words that came up when I googled synonyms for discuss. Fuck me, I'm intelligent. I will now only talk about white people, alright? How exciting! What a beautiful world we live in. So, my favourite white person to talk about of all time, and I'm going to assume they identify as a white person. I know that's pretty risky, but I will. My favourite white person to talk about of all time is this lady, Laurel Hubbard. And I'm going to cover two words that you cannot say about this supreme athlete. Laurel Hubbard is a beastly chunk of weightlifting goddessness. She recently competed in her very first Olympics, and congratulations to her. But Laurel had the eyes of the world upon her. Why? Because Laurel was born a man. She lived most of her life as a man. She broke records in weightlifting as a man and competed in weightlifting as a man. And now she's a woman, which is wonderful. We've discussed her before on this channel, and I will call her a her, not because it's dictated by law that we have to do that, otherwise we are threatened with fines or jail time. I will call her a her because it's the polite thing to do. Some people would punish you if you didn't call her a her. You could lose your job. But we will do it because it is the right thing to do in this situation. The issue most people have with Laurel and competing at the Olympic Games is the fact that she spent almost 3 decades as a man. Being born male means you have a male body, which means you have thicker bones, which means you have a stronger bone structure, which means you have a wider base, which is really important when you're weightlifting. She spent multiple decades creating this body under enormous amounts of testosterone. And it's all this muscle that has hung around through muscle memory that gives her a distinct advantage on top of all of the other advantages she has after spending so much time as a man. It gives us such an advantage over the natural born women in her division. And this is why people have the shits with her and the International Olympic Committee and the whole situation in general, including transgender athletes in female sports. Women do not have the same advantages to physical activity as men. For one tiny little example, okay, men are taller on average. We all know that, but how's this? Female growth plates close earlier than men's, which allow men to grow more than women. That's a fucking physiological advantage that you cannot deny. There is just a huge difference between the two genders. Yeah, that's right. I said two fucking genders. Come at me, bitches. I know it sounds horrible, but having someone who is a former man is unfair. It's just unfair. It's borderline, and I know this is crazy, it's borderline cheating. Now, many people argue that the testosterone range that Laurel Hubbard has to have falls in line with the Olympic Committee's levels, right? Of 288 nanoliters per deciliter. I think that's right. I'm not a fucking scientist. Is that what I wrote? Yeah, nanograms per deciliter. That is 4 times the upper limit that a natural born woman could produce. Most women only produce around 70 nanograms per deciliter at the higher limits. Now, if you're a natural born woman, you go to the Olympics, you win the gold medal, you give a urine sample afterwards, and they find that you have 4 times your normal testosterone limits, you'd probably get done for steroid use because you have an advantage over the other women. An unfair advantage, some would say an unnatural one. So everyone's talking about Laurel Hubbard. She goes to the Olympics, she gets into the final, she's competing for the gold medal, and last night she fucking flops out. Nothing happens. She misses her lifts. Fucking boring. What the fuck, you rascal? You ruined this video. And some would say because she didn't win, she doesn't have an advantage. But she had an advantage in making the Olympic side. If she didn't have that advantage, perhaps she wouldn't have made it, and a natural born woman may have. But what I found fascinating and why I made this video is this article talking about what reporters at this event and events in the Olympics, the guidelines that they have been given when talking about transgender athletes. 2 words you're not allowed to say about transgender weightlifter Laurel Hubbard. The Kiwi weightlifter made history on Monday night, becoming the first transgender athlete to compete at the Olympics. The decision to allow her to compete amongst women because she has testosterone below the threshold required by the Olympic Committee. We've already talked about that. Some, like sports writer Ewan McKenna, believe the 43-year-old Hubbard's appearance, having transitioned to female in her 30s, is a massive slap in the face of all women and fair sport. Former Olympian Caitlyn Jenner believes it's not fair. So too does tennis legend Maritina Navratilova. I think that's the incorrect pronunciation, but I also think it's a fair statement. Before the competition on Monday night got underway, journalists at the venue were given a 20-page guide on how to report appropriately on transgender athletes. 20 fucking pages? Jesus Christ. Just give them 1 page. Just say, don't be fucking rude. That's all you need to do. Just call the sport. You can have your opinion, but just call the sport. Among the guidelines was an instruction not to use this 2-word phrase, born male, to describe Hubbard. Because, and wait for it, this is just beautiful, no one is born with a gender identity. Everyone is born a baby, and their gender is assigned to them by doctors and family members based on physical sex characteristics that may not correspond to their gender identity as it develops over time. I don't care. I do not care what your gender identity is. You're at the fucking Olympics. You're either male or you're female. Otherwise, you could just have fucking Mike Tyson say, you know what? I'm keen to come back to boxing. Maybe I'll try MMA. I might go and talk to the UFC and see if I can fight Paige Van Zandt. In saying that, I understand that a lot of people don't fit into those categories of male and female. So why don't you have like an open division where men and women and transgender people can compete? Unfortunately, it would be dominated by men, just saying, because they have a physical advantage. Except for Laurel. She doesn't. They were also given instructions not to report trans athletes as having an unfair advantage over their rivals. According to the booklet, that's misinformation. Fuck you to the moon, Olympic Committee. You can shove those gold medals all the way up your fucking ancient Greek asses. I understand that we are trying to make it easier for transgender athletes, and it's nice. It's a nice ideology. But don't make it easier for some people by making it harder for others. I think that's what we're sort of looking at here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comment section below. But before I go, the merch drop last week was in-fucking-sane. These guys sold almost out almost immediately. We got an extra 60 through, so they're now on the site as well. And next Monday night on the video, I will be announcing the winner of the first prize, and I've also added second prize, third prize, and fourth prize. Fourth prize isn't a real prize, okay? I'll give you, third prize is basically a big merch pack. You're gonna get a big merch pack, and all you have to do to win one of these prizes is just buy merch. You go into the draw immediately. Second prize is $500. First prize is a massive PS5 entertainment pack with a 65-inch TV, a fucking 10 subwoofers, I don't know, there's other shit in there as well, and a PS5 that I had to pay fucking 4 times the original recommended retail price, which was absolute bullshit. Fourth prize is I'll send you a video of me creating one man, one jar. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. I might not actually send you that. That's a joke prize. Be a good mother. I've already said bye.